Hello everybody, this is Martin. I'm here with Ad Nauseam Tendrils playing against Smallpox, the much maligned mono black, sometimes splashing green Smallpox deck. I feel like this is a really favorable matchup for Storm. They have I have been just blown out of my chair by this, just blown backwards by Smallpox in the first couple of turns. Like Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize him, turn 2 Dark Ritual, Liliana discard, and then still won the game like 7 turns later because they have no clock. Now, the way they will win usually if they do beat us is by having some sort of hate, permanent based hate. Like Chains of Mephistopheles is not even that usually that good, but that can go some way, like to get us. The big thing is if they have Nether Void, but that requires them to get to 4 mana, and I don't think that many of their lists run more than maybe 1 or 2 if they even run them. Another potential sort of banana skin for us is if they have like a way to recur their wastelands. Either they splash green for Life from the Loam or Crucible Worlds. But I think even then we can fetch out basics. Now, also that's actually a good point. Our basics are not like safe because they have access to Sinkhole a lot of the time, and also Smallpox, which will make us sacrifice a land. So be mindful of that. But they take forever to kill us, and as we can use our graveyard as a resource, like getting discarded is not even that detrimental. But let's see here. So on game one, for game one, and again, I don't know. Like this is a recorded match, so at the time I did not know that I was facing Pox. I'm on the draw. I'm never going to keep this against anyone. Like the nonsense of a hand. Mulligan. Get this, which is so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like 10 goblins, or potentially actually just a kill with Past in Flames. But let's see here. So my opponent, though, doesn't want me to have any fun. So because he Inquisitions me, and I think he correctly chooses the LED, because the tutor is actually just going to be recurred with Past in Flames. But you know, them lucky draws, I probe, and I see him being the Pox deck. As you see, Mishra's Factory is a win condition for them, and yeah, that's a 10-turn clock. And he has the Liliana, and he has a Wasteland, but the probe, yes, LED, thank you very much. Now I think I win through Past in Flames. I don't want to make goblins. Actually, you should also be mindful that some of these lists run Tabernacle, or can bring a Tabernacle in from the sideboard against our Empty the Warrens plan. So my Dark Ritual LED, and we were actually able to win through Past in Flames. So how we do that is we grab a Cabal Ritual. Now, like in situations like this, it's important to just double, do a quick once over on your graveyard and count, because that's one of the sort of easy ways to just get screwed is if you get it wrong with having Threshold, because you need Threshold twice. You need Threshold now, which 8 cards, fine. But you also need Threshold for when you flash back the Cabal Therapy, and sometimes, like if after the Past in Flames is done resolving, if you only have access to 1 black mana, you'll have to cast the Dark Ritual first, so that'll sort of subtract 1 card extra from your graveyard. So just sort of count, do I have Threshold when I need it, basically, which is going to be usually before and after Past in Flames. So we cast the Cabal Ritual, flashback Past in Flames. Don't have the problem of the only 1 mana, so we actually only just have the threshold we need. And yeah, they're dead. It's good Tendrils. And actually, this is I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope for playing when you're playing online. Like when I'm playing in paper, I have a dice system set up. Like I have a colored dice for each of the mana colors I need, and then I have a separate colored dice which is white to keep track of storm. I know some people write it down, and that's definitely a good thing. Online though, you don't really need that because, as you can see, the game shows you. The game shows you what storm count. If you just have a way to look at your storm card, which you won't always have. But so anyway, storm count of 9, and yeah, no need to do anything else. And so we win. And so our opponent happily concedes. So that was a bit of a quick game 1, and yeah, spoiler alert, no game 3. But this game 2 is actually a lot more interesting, and showcases some of the stuff that I was talking about earlier. For sideboarding, I bring in Ad Nauseam because, I mean, Into the Warrens is a fine plan, I mean, but Ad Nauseam, as a rule of thumb, is just really good against discard sort of decks that try to attack you from the discard angle, because it's just a way to massively sort of regain card disadvantage, and also because Pox has no clock on you. Other sort of important cards here is the Sensei's Divining Top. That's also a massively powerful card in this matchup. I believe I bring in the Chain of Vapor just to hedge, you know, be able to randomly get the Nether Void or whatever they might bring in. Yeah, take out 1 Past in Flames, 1 Empty the Warrens to make Ad Nauseam a little bit less terrible. And off we go. So my opponent on the play, obviously, he keeps his 7. I get this hand. It's I can't really send this back, I don't think. Only 1 land, which is a bit but I mean the top is real nice. And we actually end up getting Duress on the first turn before getting our first turn. And I think, like, if I was him, I would be really tempted to take the top. I understand why he does not. He ends up taking Ad Nauseam. Because I have a ritual, and I mean, but even like I think the Cabal Ritual is not that threatening, or I'm not really threatening Ad Nauseam anytime soon. I guess there's no real point in finding me on the Duresses, because I have 2 and I have Probe. I'm definitely gonna get a look at his hand. So he took my Ad Nauseam. So I draw an LED, which is a pretty neat draw. I probe him, and I see double Smallpox. And he has a top, and I'm definitely gonna want to take something here, but on the one hand, I think I should consider taking top, but I think that my top is gonna outshine his top. Like, I think basically I'm gonna be maximizing the top race. I really getting Smallpox is gonna suck when I'm stuck on 1 land. And actually, for this game, I didn't really pay any attention to the Ratchet Bomb, and promptly end up making a pretty, big misplay. But we'll get to that. So I probe here. I get a land, which is lucky for me. And here I have a bunch of there's a bunch of different ways to go about this. If I don't play out my top, there's a risk of him top decking a discard spell. and grabbing it from me. If I don't discard him and take one of his smallpoxes, then he is going to be able to, he's going to probably smallpox me next turn, and I'll lose one land. And then I could discard him then and take the other one, but yeah, so what I end up doing, I fetch here. So yeah, I want to get a land that I'll actually sort of, that I'll not, that I won't mind too much losing to smallpox. So I play out the top, and I play out the diamond. Very clever, right? In the face of the ratchet bomb. The reason, like I'll admit, it was an oversight on my part. The reason I want to play out like my mana rocks, especially the LEDs, is that the way that you can often end up sort of bouncing back from their onslaught of discard spells is by just having like a couple of LEDs in play and the top, and then eventually you'll get like your tutor. You can sort of be sandbagging your tutor on top of your deck for a while, and then eventually like having that mana sort of spread out is going to be really advantageous, while having it in your hand is just asking for it to be discarded. But another way for me to go about this would of course be to say that I completely intended for this, lured him into playing the ratchet bomb and not smallpoxing, allowing for me to take both smallpoxes next turn if I wanted to, at the cost of well, him one for wanting us, or one for wanting me. But I will admit that when I saw that wretched bomb, I did do a little bit of a facepalm. I think that probably wasn't a very. I think that was a bit of a misplay. I mean, he could do that on the following turn if he was able to deploy a third land from if the notion being that he smallpoxed here. Okay, so another duress. I'm definitely duressing once just to see what's up, and I end up taking his top now because I feel like I can handle being smallpoxed once since I have the top out, and losing the Badlands is not going to be that devastating. Of course, there's the risk of him sort of top decking a wasteland now, which would suck hard. He doesn't, but he hymns me, and so now we're at this. We're back. We're here where I sort of describe. You end up in top deck mode, and now me having top is just friggin' awesome. So topping, of course. Yeah, that's all right. We can grab his smallpox if we want to, and we want to. So there's basically no need to probe now. He draws a Bajuka Bog, so that basically means no more Ad Nauseam. That's fine. That meant he didn't draw anything else. I still want to sort of top and upkeep. Yeah, I want to draw the probe. Just cycle a card now to get one card deeper for my top. Save the Brainstorm. He draws a Cabal Pit. For you aficionados, is this land that can be sacked to nugget creature. Not terribly relevant here. I get to top in his end step. And okay, so shaping up. Dark Ritual, another probe. I think my life total isn't going to be relevant now that my Ad Nauseam is gone. And basically he has, he's Pox, like we discussed. And I'm going to just pass the turn here. I could have probed again to cycle, but chose not to. Might end up mattering with like my Brainstorm. So he sinkholes my Underground Sea, and I top. Not that exciting. And I think I Brainstorm here. So Brainstorm solves. Yeah, this is where, like, I mean, on the one hand, he's not doing anything. Like, so admittedly, it sucks to have my one blue source removed. And I'm not really that close to cobbling things together, but what we do end up risking here is him actually getting to something relevant. Like, it would be fairly annoying if he got out a grave interaction thing, like a Grafdigger's Cage or something. But anyway, so put back Tendrils. Don't really want that in my hand. And the Dark Ritual. I can stand to lose these two, and I don't want the Tendrils. So long, Underground Sea. And I feel like here I want to top in upkeep. And more rituals. So, yeah, I mean, still a ways away. And content to not really do anything, just pass the turn. And here, somewhat annoying, but I mean, the Past in Flames ensures that I'm not really going to be screwed that much over. And I have another ritual on top. And this is where Past in Flames in particular just shows you how resilient the deck is, or like what a resilient piece it is in the face of discard. So I think I'm starting to consider, just to speed things up, to fire off my probe, but I won't do it yet. So he found something that he's fine with keeping in his hand. Might be a land that he just doesn't see the need to play out. Not really sure what else. And we top in upkeep, and we get a tutor. So getting somewhere. An LED now would be nice, although still not enough. Draw the ponder. Now I decide to probe. Yeah, basically, like, me having the tutor now runs me the risk of him discarding it, but it's not that big of a deal, unless he also has like a surgical extraction. That might actually be a card he could have drawn and be sandbagging. So that would be an argument to leave the tutor on top. Another land pass. Upkeep, top. Ah, we found a swamp. So we're getting close-ish to a point where we can do something which is with just casting the Dark Ritual off the swamp, casting the Cabal Ritual, and this wouldn't excuse me, sorry. We need all of these three cards, but with them we could probably win just by cycling the rituals through a Past in Flames. We have another ritual in the yard. We have two probes. But for now, I am happy to play out the swamp, pass the turn. And, oh, he finds the top, so that's not that great. He has a couple of fetches, so he can basically find he should be able to find some way to do something, but that something might just be play out Liliana, which would actually be favorable for us. Where does that sounds? And this is where you can see, like, oh, he found something immediately. Urborg. Another smallpox. That's fairly annoying. And top to see what's there. There's a petal, so that will negate the smallpox. And I think this lets me set up some sort of ponder into. Yeah. So what I end up doing, we'll get to it. No, I'll leave here. I can discard my ponder and lose one of the lands, but because of the petal, it's all good now. We lost the ponder, which was our way. We We didn't have any blue mana. So we draw the Dark Ritual. Now the Tendrils is on top. We won't be able to get to it, but we have the kill now. So hooray for us. And yeah, play out the rituals. Play out the Past in Flames with the tutor in hand. Flashback all the rituals. Build up enough storm. We have plenty of storm. We can tutor for tutor, or we can just tutor for the Tendrils and then probe 2 times. Just don't ever probe before you've gotten the Tendrils, because then you won't be hellbent. And yeah, this was I get the tutor. Just have a quick peek here. Storm is conveniently high enough. And I guess I could have probed just to see. Oh no, hang on, he has no cards in hand. Doesn't matter. So yeah, this was Ad Nauseam against the Pox deck, and I think this game too fairly well sort of illustrates some of the points that I was making throughout and why it is a quite favorable matchup for Storm. Because they have, yeah, I mean, I think he didn't get the best of draws in this game too, but on the other hand, I mean, look, he had the turn 1 discard spell. He had multiple small poxes. He had a hymn. Like he just really chipped away at our lands and our hand, but because he was unable to apply any pressure, and because you don't need to play around stack interaction most of the time, it ends up being favorable for Storm a lot of the time. So yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, and the list will be underneath the video.